homework due. You also have lab quiz 3 that will cover enteric, conjugation, transformation, and Kirby-Bauer. I did mention in my announcement to make sure that your notebook is up to date and clear. Students tend to confuse conjugation and transformation in terms of what the difference between the two samples was, what the different plates were, what we were looking at. So if you have a neat notebook and have some visual aids of, you know, what the plates were, whether we were just looking for growth or blue colonies, that can really help you in the quiz. And then Friday, if you wanted to be submitting the exam 3 questions, it'll be due on Friday. Any general questions? All right, so we have a busy lab today, so I want to get going. The first thing I want to do is I want to wrap up the lab from last week where we were quantifying microbial growth. So this is where we had a stock culture, and so we said we wanted to determine the cell density, or cells per volume, of the stock culture, but it was too dense to determine the concentration of that. We had taken a sample of that and added it to a plate. It would have been too numerous to count. So what we did is we said, okay, let's make a dilution so it's more dilute, and then if we plate that inoculum, most likely it'll be countable. Then if we determine the concentration in that dilution, we can back calculate the concentration in the undiluted stock culture. So we kind of took a guess based on past experience of 2 different dilutions. From each dilution, we plated 2 volumes. So you should have 4 different plates. And we're hoping that at least one of these is countable. By countable, I mean greater than 30 and less than 300 colonies. And so you can just kind of look at it, and usually you can get a ballpark or like estimate of whether you think it'll fall within that range. And usually that estimate is based on, doesn't look like you can count it without your eyes crossing in the middle of the process. Okay? If you feel like an immediate headache, that's probably too numerous to have. So some of you may be lucky enough to have 2 plates to count. Many of you will probably just have 1.
Yeah.
And then some of you may not have any, and if that's the case, I'm hoping we can borrow from someone else. So you can try.
Even this has a lot of tiny ones, but this has a lot of tiny ones. These ones have a million tiny ones.
The only one we can count, like literally the small and big ones, we can count on that one. This one we can't either, but this one we can count every single one.
Okay, once you're ready, you're going to retrieve one of these. They're called Quebec counters in the back bench. And what you're going to do is you slide this magnifying glass out of the way. You put your plate here. You slide it back. You plug it in, and it provides a backlight. So it'll light from the back of your plate, and it also provides this nice grid along with the magnifying glass. Now, there has to be kind of a method to your counting. In other words, you don't just haphazardly try to count this colony here, then this one, because you're going to lose track. So what you do, let's reach up here. So let's say this is your plate, and I'm just going to draw a rough graph on the back side. Imagine this is the figure provided here. That just helps guide you in your counting. So let's say I'm just going to draw these dots to represent colonies all over. So what you do is you start in the upper left, and you are going to work your way left to right in this first column. Once you count these, so it'd be 1, 2, you're going to loop back right to left in the second row. Did I say column? First row. So first row, left to right, loop back, right to left in the second row. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You guys got it. You keep going in that snake-like pattern, keeping focus so you don't lose track of where you are until you reach the bottom. Okay? If you're partway through and you already reached 300, well then that plate be too dense, and you can just stop counting because we're not going to use that number. Okay, so again, you want it to fall within 30 to 300. Once you get that total number, have your partner double check, and then you're going to plug it into this equation here. So you'll take the number of colonies that you counted, you multiply it by the dilution factor. So if the dilution was 1 to 10 to the 6th, your dilution factor is 10 to the 6th, right? If your dilution is 1 to 10, your dilution factor is 10. Then you divide it by the volume plated, so that should be 0.1 mil or 1 mil. That will give you colony forming units, or CFU, per mil. So if your final number is, 225, it's 225 CFU per mil. Because we're not counting cells, we're counting colony forming units per mil. And that will be your cell density or concentration in the original stock culture, the undiluted. Because this is where we took into account the dilution factor. So multiplying that number times the colonies on your diluted plate, it's gonna back calculate how much was in the original. Does that make sense?
What if there's like a hundred of tiny one?
Yeah, you just kind of have to estimate if you think it'll fall within the range. So when you guys are ready, you can get the counters in the back.
You gotta take the cap off, right? Take the cap off.
No.
That's a good question. I'm just gonna turn it around and do it the other way.
Yeah, I don't think you take the cap off, you let the bacteria.
I mean, the culture's already done. You're not gonna be able to see anything through the.
This is like.
Let me see if I can find an extra plate for you guys. Why don't you try this one? So this is full 10 minus.
You don't get all that. Not even Dito, this doesn't have anything.
So that these are flush to grid.
This one literally has one
This one's
colony.
borderline of whether it'll fall.
Your hair smells good, so I kinda like
It
wanna.
has one.
There's only one.
So just know that you'll
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure. I mean, this one has, but.
Do you have
the-
barely any colonies on
No,
any of them?
there's some here. So this one must have been one that we did in the right order, and these,
approximately a quarter of it, and
right, because, so that this number, there should be more colors than this one, which is right, than this one, because this one is more diluted. This is not gonna count. She's like, flip the rest. Yeah.
We also have like tons of tiny ones. I'm not even through this process.
Yeah, one.
I'm already at 15.
One here.
So I don't know. That's what I'm trying to do, but I'm saying that top section, I'm already at 15. I'm not even done with it. You have to count all of it.
Your quarter done?
Not even.
Oh, not even your quarter of what?
I know. I like.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
so that's hard.
Can I like go like this?
I don't know, girl, but that's hard.
There's something with it. I guess I'll just try to record it. Those are definitely, there's even more.
This one, yeah, that's way more. Oh no.
Yeah.
This one looks impossible. Look at how tiny those are.
Professor, so do you want,
Oh my
like,
God. Yeah. There was a,
Yeah.
car
So we
that
have,
came up
do
the.
you want us to
Really?
count like the ones
I
that
wanna
are
get a candle.
bigger?
I recorded the beginning.
Both?
cause like this one is our one, the most dilute and like the least, but even finish that very top grid,
Yeah,
I'm already
that's the
over
one.
50.
Right,
Yeah.
right.